Phomaton.
This section is called A Poem About a Man from Devon. Okay, then this next chapter, well, it's preceded by a picture of a puffin. And a bloody nice puffin at that.
Hello.
Hello.
You still want to wear your headphones? You weren't wearing them before. You're trying to look all cool and professional now, aren't you, with the camera running?
Yeah.
Okay. Not saying anything.
Why would you? This is poem number 517. Norway. It's called Norway. Jack pulled his black trunks up over his belly and waded in. He knew his car keys had fallen out of his pocket whilst paragliding over this fjord, but he appreciated it could take days or even weeks to recover them. It's semi-biographical. My dad actually dropped his wedding ring in a river once called the Ardèche, and then poked about in it for a bit to try and get it back, but there's no chance of getting it back. But he did get it back, he found it. Kind of guy he is. Poem number 1149. Chuck Joseph. A United States citizen got his hands on a gun. He drank his soda and made a list of some objects and people he'd like to have a go at shooting. At first he was hopeless, missing a couple of trash cans from close range and getting his thumb caught in the trigger bit. But then he practised on his brother a bit, and on some cans a bit. And on the Sunday he went on a half-decent rampage, shooting the mare, a couple of cows, and a gigantic bell that rang and cracked at the same time when the bullet dinged into it. When I when I had this gun in the United States, the temptation was to shoot my friend. Obviously you can't do that. This is poem number 1196. It's called Bangkok Bellends. Owing to a mixture of youth, greed and stupidity, Annie and Walker shoved a bunch of drugs up their arses and tried to waddle through customs. Walker was going bright red with the guilt, and Annie was pinching his flanks and whispering for Walker to go pale again so they wouldn't get caught. The walkways seemed impossibly long, and Walker's back was drenching itself with rivulets of sweat. They were almost on the plane when one of the drug dogs noticed they were both crying a bit and pulling at the hems of each other's blouses and walking like they'd shout themselves. Initially, the police officers seemed very reasonable. Of course, they were strict, but they didn't shout, and Annie was allowed to stroke the drug dog, and they were allowed to take the drugs out of their arses themselves. But latterly, the authorities started being more and more serious with them, and ultimately the state sanctioned their death. So they were executed in Thailand.